For this project, I started with a 7 by 14 inch frame that I had picked up at a garage sale. I spray painted it gold, and I'm starting to spray paint more of my frames now. I really don't like to paint, and I feel like the spray paint gives better coverage. After this was done drying, I flipped it over and I took Elmer's glue and put it around the perimeter of the back of the frame where the glass would sit. Then I replaced the glass and I put Elmer's glue around the perimeter one more time. Now this serves two purposes. It helps to hold the glass in place, and it helps to prevent any resin leaks when you put resin on the other side. Once the resin has dried, that is what permanently adheres it to the frame, the glass to the frame. So the Christmas tree mold that I'm using for this project is made by Crown Made Molds. And at the time, I only found it on their website, but now they do have it on Amazon for close to $10, a little under $10. So the resin I'm using for this project is Nic Pro resin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio resin that you mix slowly in a cup for approximately 3 minutes, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom. The slower you mix it, the less bubbles you will get. It's like most other 1-to-1 ratio resins. I do spray mold release spray into the mold, and I pour a little bit of the resin in the bottom of the mold just to coat it so the glass will certainly stick to the bottom. And then I use the heat gun to get rid of the bubbles. When using your heat source on your resin, you have to be very careful not to direct it at the mold itself, because you can damage the mold and it will cause the resin to stick to the side of the mold. Now the glass I'm using for this project is reflective gold glass that I picked up on Amazon. Real pretty, and I just go ahead and fill up the mold with the glass. Once I have it full, I start drizzling my resin over the glass. Putting resin over this type of glass, you do not want to saturate it. You just kind of want to drizzle it so that it doesn't take away its sparkly qualities. So next I demold the Christmas tree, and I'm not going to do this in fast forward because I want you to see what happened. So when I went to take it out of the mold, a lot of the glass that was just not on the top but just around the very edges fell out. So when I was, can you see that? Yeah, so quite a bit of it actually fell out all along the edges. So I must have drizzled the resin in the middle, but not along the edges well enough. So you have to make sure you get enough on it. So it's kind of tricky. You don't want to put too much on, but yet you want to make sure everything's covered so that the edges don't fall out. And so here I'm going to show you closer. See, there's actually crevices in the side, and see all that glass on the table? All of that fell out. And there's just like little holes you can see all along the side. So I just must not have put enough resin drizzled along the side. So be sure to do that if you should get this mold. So I actually made up another one also because I thought this was just way too thick. So I replaced all the little pieces of glass in the side with some resin, but I made up a second one that was much thinner, and that's the one that I'm going to use for the project. So next I'm going to paint the sides of the Christmas tree all along the edges with a paint that I make up using a varnish and gold mica powder. The gold mica powder I'm using is Unicone 24 karat gold, and it is so pretty. And I just make a mixture up of the two and pour them together. And the reason I actually ended up pouring that varnish into another container because I can never get it opened. It's a darn child-proof container, but I just can't get it open. So I had my husband open it for me, and I dumped it into another container so I wouldn't have that problem again. And I just mixed it together so it was kind of thick. And I went ahead and I painted the sides and just along the edges of the top, kind of putting it in all the little nooks and crannies. And I tell you, this gold is so pretty. And the reason I'm doing it this way is you just have more control over it. I'm not mixing the, with resin or anything. And You could, if you don't want to mess with this, because I am wearing a respirator because of the varnish, and I'm doing it indoors, so you have to have a respirator on. And you should probably move the project then outdoors to dry because the smell lingers in the room. So the other thing you could use are the gold metallic markers. That would be real pretty. It's just really hard to get down into the nooks and crannies with the markers, but I have done it before by pushing down on the marker in a plastic container and using it like paint and painting it down into the nooks and crannies. So next I need to attach the brooch to the top of the Christmas tree. So the brooch I'm using I actually picked up on TEMU, and to get it to sit right on that Christmas tree, I have to take the pin off the back. And you just have to be really careful, just twist back and forth, because I have broke off part of those little prongs on the brooches before, so you have to be real careful. Sometimes you might even have to leave it because of the fear of breaking it off. So what I did was I attached this with some UV resin. And if you're not familiar with UV resin or don't want to use UV resin, you could certainly attach it with some E6000. So I just held it on there until the UV light took effect and it was stuck there, and then I was able to let go and then keep it under the light for like a minute and a half. And I kept it under there till I was certain it was going to stay on there. So next I was ready for the resin. The resin I used for this part of the project was also the Nick Pro resin that I had used to construct the Christmas trees themselves. And I went ahead and mixed that up off camera, and then I poured some on top of the glass first and just spread that out. When you're working with resin, you have to kind of push it along. I know they say it's self-leveling, but you really have to kind of push it up along the sides and into the corners to make sure everything is covered. And I put this down first, and then I'm putting the tree on top of it, because sometimes bubbles can be created if you have something so large and it's just setting directly on the glass. Some of the resin will seep under and it can create more bubbles. I did use the kitchen torch to get rid of the bubbles. Next I used a little bit of resin, and I went ahead and spread it along the sides over top of the gold just to seal it. I don't know that it really needed to be sealed, but it will make it shinier, and I thought it would look pretty, so I did that. And then I also drizzled a little bit of the resin at the very top, just as an extra security for that brooch to hold on there, because it is kind of hanging in the air. And my table is not level. You'll see the Christmas tree sliding to the other side. So what I usually do when I am working on a project is I set it up on the table, but then as soon as I think it's all ready, I quickly pick it up and set it on the floor, because I know my floor is level. I need to get some kind of a leveling table that I can use, because this is kind of a pain. Anyway, so a lot of times with projects, bubbles will congregate around the edges, and you can use a little toothpick to move them away so that you can get them with your kitchen torch or heat source. And then here at the bottom, what I'm spreading down is some tube confetti. This tube confetti can be, you can get it up at the Dollar Tree. They have it in all sorts of colors, and it is so pretty. And along with the white iridescent tube confetti, I'm putting in a little bit of the gold tube confetti, and just drizzling a tiny bit of resin on top to make sure everything's covered and it will stay in place. After my project's done, I do come back every 15 minutes to check on it, to make sure everything's still in the right place, to retorch it for bubbles, to look at it for any sediment that might be in it. Sometimes you really have to turn it and look at it from all angles and get down eye level, and something that you won't see by looking at it from the top. Maybe if you're looking at it eye level, you will see. And that's happened to me many times. I've found cat hair, well, some kind of hair in my project, and I only saw it when I got down eye level. So anyway, this particular resin needs to cure at temperatures between 75 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. All resins are different. You need to read the directions for the resin that you are using. Hey everyone, another project finished. Oh, I haven't seen it from the back before. It looks pretty from the back too. So when I first did this, which was really about 3 weeks ago, and I had sent away for the mold probably 4 weeks ago or more, I couldn't find, I was looking on Amazon for Christmas trees, large Christmas tree molds, and I couldn't find anything. So then I just Google searched it and found it on this website, which is Christmas tree mold, Crown Made Maker, in a box like this, and I got it. And then about a week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, I searched it again just to see if there was many there, because I like to give you guys the link so that you can purchase it if you want it. And it said 2 were left. So I said, oh, that stinks. And then yesterday, when I actually poured this, I looked again, and not only do it doesn't say that there's a limited quantity, they have a bunch in stock, they also have it on Amazon now. So I don't know if maybe I wasn't searching, using the right words. Christmas tree mold, I mean, I don't know, can't be any simpler than that, but anyway. So if you are interested, and it is a really nice mold, it's a nice, thick, sturdy mold. You know how some of the molds that you get are real thin and flimsy and kind of wrinkle and that? Well, this is not like that. It's a real sturdy mold, and they have other molds on their website, and they're not paying me or anything, but Amazon might have been a little bit cheaper, and of course it's free shipping, whereas when I bought it, I had to buy it off their website and I had to pay shipping. So it's just under $10 on Amazon. Amazon Prime, if you have Amazon Prime. Anyway, I'll link everything in the description. I just think it was very simple, very pretty, and I think the thinner one looks better. And like I said, you have to make sure when you pour the resin that you get it more around the edges. Maybe I didn't need to put as much on the bottom like I did, because whatever you pour on the top ends up sinking to the bottom anyway, a lot of it. So I just didn't drizzle enough this way so that it seeped down, and there was crevices in the thicker one that I had. But anyway, I think it turned out cute. It's just very simple, very plain, but I think it's really pretty. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. If you enjoy the channel, go ahead and subscribe. You'll be notified when future videos come out. We have the Facebook page going, a great place to ask questions. And I hope you guys all have a nice day. Thanks for watching.